4 hours at this point? That was like, usually the Dead Space streams are like 2.5 to 3 hours, so we got at least an extra hour or two out of that. So you made a bad bet. John, what program do you use to record emulators and computer stuff? Nowadays I use Fraps. I used to use Camtasia, but I've moved on to Fraps. Fraps is a bit rough because it records good quality, like it's lossless quality, but the file sizes are huge because of that, so you need to have a lot of hard drive space. John Wesker for the new Super Smash Bros. What is your response to this? My response is thus.
You will give me an egg!
I feel like that would just be his taunt the entire time. John, can I get a plug to my browser game LP channel on YouTube of the same name? Iona Draken! Yes, you've also actually helped me a lot with Dead Space tonight, so I appreciate that, dude. Which came first, the egg or the egg? Probably the egg. John, huge is an understatement? Is there any chance of seeing Dead or Alive Extreme? That happened Saturday night. That's where the out-of-course gift that's at the top middle there came from. So if you didn't see that, you missed out. There is a highlight on the Twitch channel, and a highlight will be going up on YouTube in the next day or two once I get it edited together. So, or I might just put up the entire thing. I don't know. There's a bit of dead air in the entire thing, so I might just shorten it down to a bit of highlight reel because it's 50 minutes otherwise. John, will we ever see Devil May Cry 3 on the stream? A couple months ago, I actually streamed half the game because I was racing against someone else. So it might come back at some point. I'm going to need to practice it. So, John, what did Emil say in Dokapon Kingdom that was cut out? Emil didn't say anything, actually. That was someone else. John, have you watched any of the old Doctor Who? I've seen a couple of the Tom Baker episodes. They're good. I like them. But, I mean, I like New Who because it's more so when I got into the show. John, have you ever played Resident Evil 6? And if so, what's your opinion on? I have not played it. I watched my last girlfriend play it a bunch. So at least mostly Leon's stories. So I have the gist of what happens in the game. From Leon's perspective, it looked alright, but she was getting kind of annoyed playing through Chris's section, and I never saw her play Jake's, but I heard Jake's kind of sucks. Jake's was the worst of the three, apparently, so. John, you asked about who would clean the blood up earlier. I say Hammond does because he's blatantly no good for everything else. I see what you said there. Well done. Well done, Vincent. It was not something political. I remember what it is, Tim. Do you want me to actually say what it was? Or because it's not that bad, all things considered, but I'm sure someone might have gotten upset about it. Tim, no, you mentioned something about what was going on at the time with Nintendo. So that's what you made a comment about. Yeah, you basically said, like, because Emil made a comment about, like, stealing money, and I think you made a comment, like, said something about Nintendo. That's all I remember. And then we were all like, oh. And then Emil decided to cut it out. John, what headset or microphone do you use? And do you have any tips for recording audio for an in-person co-op LP or stream? I have a Blue Snowball mic, but it seems like you use multiple mics for TRG, so I'm curious. Blue Snowballs are fantastic when you have two people. Absolutely great. Just sit on a couch or something, and it's fine. I have one myself. That's what I use usually when I have people over for Top 10 Perspective streams, or when I do group streams. We'll just all sit in front of a Blue. We use multiple Blue Yetis for when we do TRG. Those are also really good. But I think we're toning back down to one mic for the next little bit because people haven't really noticed the difference in the fact that we've all had separate mics. They've just all noticed Emil more. So, there you go. Yeah, Villain has a snowball as well. Works good for her streams. John, can you think of one boss that has given you the most trouble or taken you the longest to defeat? Alma in Ninja Gaiden. She was ridiculously hard to defeat until I learned the trick about Flying Swallow. And then when I fought her in Ninja Gaiden Black and that trick didn't work anymore, I had to relearn how to fight her. So she was a pain in the ass. John, what would your favorite Doctor be? 9, 10, or 11? I'm pretty partial to Tennant, but for the longest time, I would have said 9. I would have said Eccleston. Have you ever fired a real gun? Yes, actually. My dad's a hunter, so I fired rifles and 12 gauges. Traditionally, when we lived back home, because we lived in the woods, we would fire off 12 gauges in midair for Halloween. For New Year's. So, ringing the New Year by shooting the sky. Good luck with it, Foo. I'm sure the project will go great. John, what are you going as for Halloween? I'm not doing anything for Halloween. The only costume I have that's completely intact right now is my Blues Brothers outfit. I think my Dante costume is missing some pieces, so I can't wear it anymore. It might be the vest, actually. It's the vest or the black shirt I'm missing. John, Spider-Man is watching you from a panel in the ceiling. Your reaction? Intermission. That's my reaction. Is there any chance of seeing a traditional fighting game like King of Fighters on TRG? No, because Emil will pretty much refuse to, and I don't know if Tim's played anything but Street Fighter. Were you on a mission sent by the Door Gods then? You know it. I'm on a mission from the Door Gods. John, do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Door? Sure, I'm always down to talk about Door. Have Tim or Luca join you on Skype? We're not going to be streaming that much longer, honestly. Q&A is probably for like another 5-10 minutes, and then we'll be done for the night. You could still go as DMC3 Dante and just don't wear a shirt. No, you don't want to see me shirtless right now. I need to work on that. I need to work out. Emil's working out to fucking promote one of his LPs, so I mean, maybe I'll come up with a legitimate reason for wanting to get cut and then do that. I'm lost. Who are the Door Gods? If you don't know who the Door Gods are, you weren't here for the Dead Space part of the stream. It's the best way to put it. Speaking of which, what is your King of Fighters team? Mine is Iori, Yuri, and Kyo. Depending on what KOF. KOF 11, which is the one I played the most, I was always K-Dash, B, Janet, and Terry. 98, I was usually Terry, Joe, and I'd switch it up a bit, but I think last time I played 98, Benimaru was on my team. How do you feel about Ninja Theory's DMC? I liked it. I didn't finish it, but I liked what I was playing. It wasn't as bad as people were making out to be. But there were some annoyances such as no dedicated lock-on button. Mai all the way. Reese, you only like Mai because of the giant animated boobs. Although she isn't that bad of a fighting character if you know what you're doing, admittedly. John, have you seen the Breaking Bad ending? If so, yay or nay? I liked it, but there were a lot of people who said like the ending was too clean, too finite, and I kind of agree with that. Everything went too perfectly. Your point being, touché, I guess. That's a very good point. What program do you use to stream, John? XSplit. John, any plans to visit Eastern Canada? How Eastern are we talking, Villain? Because remember, I'm from Newfoundland. But it's like $1,000 to go visit my family, so it's kind of ridiculous, which is why they usually come out here. Because me and my sister both live out here, and they can just stay with us for Christmas. Rather than we go to where they live and then have to put off what we're doing for work, because Mom and Dad are semi-retired, so... Toronto. That's not East Coast. That's Central. No, I would like to someday just go hang out in Toronto, but I've never actually been, unless you count sitting in the airport, because I've done that a lot. So no, I would actually rather go visit Toronto at some point. Oh, didn't know you were new. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, that's. Well, now you know now, boy. Eh? Suppose my new heritage comes out a little bit when someone mentions it, when it brings it up, eh? I don't usually go a little too crazy with it. Because then all the hangar shores be going all nuts about it. All the mainlanders be going weird for it. So that's why I talk normally like this. A Canadian not living in Toronto? What the hell? Yeah, it's almost like there's more to this country than Ontario. Do you like the Resident Evil movies? Yeah, actually I do. Well, they're kind of a guilty pleasure at this point. You still don't sound Newfie. I know, I put it on a little bit too thick. It's more like Buddy What's-His-Name kind of thick when I do that. You spell buy by like B-Y or B-Y-E, depending on how you say it. Because when someone goes like, how you getting on by? That's, actually, most people I know spell it as B-Y. So, yeah. Either way, it works. Get that sound clip, someone. It's like most of the stream was American all of a sudden. Hey, John, I want to thank your country for your Nintendo eShop. Heh. Why is that, Snarky? John, are you actively playing any multiplayer games at the moment? Not really, no. I don't multiplayer game as much as I used to. Who's more persistent, Nemesis or Liquid Snake? I'd say Liquid Snake because he managed to make it through like 3 games. Nemesis only made it through the 1. Oh yeah, B''YE. That's actually a good way for it too. Yeah, no, I'll agree with that, Electric Brian. Dark Air Warrior. Here we go. Final tally of this stream. Currently in Dead Space 1, we're at 45 saves, 21 deaths, 11 to 12 glitches, 20 Door God sacrifices. Holy crap. 2 controller desyncs. That was all in the second stream. 1 legitimate scare. That was tonight. 2 Flame God sacrifices and 5 Pit God sacrifices. I think there's also... there was also 2 good shot count, and there was something else that people were counting. I can't remember what it was. Whoa, Hyper has an even bigger count. 5 gods apiece, 5 field goals, 3 good shots, 5. Ooh, I'm going up in the world. Death by chat 2, sexy shower scene 1, legit scare 1, fire god sacrifice 2, pit god sacrifices 5. Wow, Jesus, we had a lot of stuff to track. I miss John actually getting scared. Damn it. The legit scare was when I remember that point where I kept opening and closing a door to fight like a bunch of necromorphs. I kept saying like open door, close door, open door, close door. I shot everyone out. I thought they were all dead. Walked up, and then one jumped up and immediately grabbed onto me. So I was like, God damn it! So it startled me because I didn't expect it to happen. Does the drop medkit count for pit god sacrifice? I think it should at this point. What part of Canada do you like? I've really only got pure East Coast and pure West Coast to go off of. I haven't really spent any time in Central besides driving through Ontario, which takes like 2 fucking days, by the way. What the hell, Ontario? I think I would like the East Coast more had I lived in like St. John's or like even Corner Brook. Living in a small town like Lewisport was, and there you go, I'm dropping where I'm from, really sucked. Because the area I lived in had no like cable internet, anything like that. There was just next to nothing going on. If I ever wanted to buy any games, I had to travel half an hour to Gander or Grand Falls to buy anything. So it just really sucked. Enigmatic Fade. My fear is not that delectable. It's just me going ah, and then laughing and then shooting. So it's like a split second of ah. In fact, you could probably just listen to me going ah and get the gist of it. John, what is your opinion on the Steam box entering the console war, and what first-party company will turn third-party first? I think the Steam box is a cool idea. I don't think it's really going to compete with the console war, because I wouldn't say that Ouya competes in the console war. But out of the 3 companies going first, third-party first, it would have the only one that really would be Nintendo, and the reason for that is because Sony and Microsoft both have other parts of their industry to make money off of that can offset any costs they lose in gaming. Nintendo doesn't have that luxury. So that's the only reason Nintendo would ever be in a situation where they could have to consider going third party. If someone bought you Billy Hatcher, would you accept it and stream it? I'm willing to do so just to see you play a game about eggs. You know what? Billy Hatcher is on my to-get list, and I think my friend has a bunch of games for me to pick up, and I don't know if Billy Hatcher's on that list or not. I think I gave him the list to get it, but I don't think he's picked up a copy yet. So if someone got me a copy of Billy Hatcher that was in good condition, I'd gladly accept it, and I'd probably stream it. It would probably end up if it was on like a fortune cookie stream, but let's see. So, John, have you played any of the Bonk series? No, I have not actually. I've seen the first one played, but I've never played it myself. Later, Tails. John, what about a boss that you enjoyed fighting against the most? That would probably also be Alma, oddly enough, because that was a frustrating as hell fight, but it was also a fun fight because it kept coming down tooth and nail. Favorite member of the Red Green Show? I know you've seen it. Of course I've seen it. I have books from Red Green. My favorite member would be Red Green himself. Favorite PS1 platformer? Yeah, I don't think I have one. Metal Gear Solid! That's not a platformer. Because I never played any of the Crash games. I never played any of the Spyro games. And those were like the core ones on that system, so I don't think I have an answer to that question. John, random question. Have you ever worn a dress? I had to in drama class. No, I have not. Do the women find you handy? Oh, you knows by. There you go. Hey, John, Robert Kopp or Captain Robert Kopp? Captain Robert Kopp. John, do you watch football or is it just a joke? If so, what league do you watch? I don't watch football. The joke is all from Resident Evil 5. So. I mean, like, I pay attention to CFL from time to time, but even then it's not that interesting. If there's a sport I watch, and as cliche as it sounds, it's hockey. Even though I still have yet to find the team I want to properly root for. Hey, John, are there any games that you were looking to add to your collection of games? I'm thinking of sending you something soon. My P.O. Box is still active for those who don't know about the P.O. Box or are wondering about the P.O. Box. So I do check it from time to time. I don't know if there's any games in particular I'm looking for, because usually when one crosses my mind, I tend to snag it. I've been trying to track down a copy of the PlayStation 1 version of Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. But every time I pick up a copy or like try to buy a copy, something goes wrong with it and I can't play it. So, like last time I ordered one off eBay, it got caught by customs and it never showed up. It was really weird. Root for the Ducks. I used to be a Penguins fan, I'll admit that. But I think that partially came because of the fact that I really wanted a Ginla to win a cup. So the Ginla's on Boston now, but I can't root for Boston for some reason. There's just some reason I don't want to root for the Bruins. Shadow Rider, I do have a P.O. Box that you can send stuff to. So if you look on my YouTube channel, or even on my Facebook page, there's a listing for a P.O. Box that you can send it to. Speaking of your P.O. Box, have you received anything obscure? I got that giant pokey head that I've shown off in the past. I've gotten a bunch of letters. Oh, I got a good letter actually last week. Someone sent me a letter literally saying, "Hey, I know you like Ninja Gaiden, so I made a ROM hack that involved Ninja Gaiden and Super Mario. So here's a link. Go to this site and look for this name, and you will find this ROM hack that you should play. See ya." Which I was like, wow, you sent a letter for this. That's devotion. Yeah, Red Wings. Wait, Tim's a bigger hockey fan than John? No, I'm a hockey fan. Like I said, I just don't have a team I root for. Like, when I was a kid, for some reason, I rooted for the Dallas Stars. I don't know why. I've never figured out why I rooted for the Dallas Stars, but I just wanted them to win something. And then, like, I got into the Flames when they were in the playoffs, and then when they blew it against, I believe it was Tampa that year. But that was about it for that, because the Flames have never really been that good of a team, except for, like, in the 2004 era before the lockout. Just showing how Canadian I am. I'm thinking about hockey now. Tim says, nah, I don't watch hockey either. There's allegiance to my dad's all. Huh? Oh, that makes sense. John, what is your album of the year? Oh, man, what new albums have come out this year that I've gotten into? I really like Reflector, the new Arcade Fire album. That's really good. I'm trying to think of what else came out this year. Arctic Monkeys AM came out. That was good, but I don't like it as much as, say, Brainstorm, that album. Shoot, what else came out this year? Random Access Memories came out this year. That was good. Anamanaguchi's new album was really good. Endless Fantasy was fantastic. Love that title track. For your subscriber games, are you only thinking of large games like TF2, or are you considering smaller games like Left 4 Dead / Alien Swarm / Monster Hunter and just rotating players after each round? I think I'm gonna start with big games first, and then if it's popular enough, we'll do smaller games. Like I said, once we get enough money for the 3DS capture card, we'll do like Mario Kart 7 groups and all that. That'll be a good time. But yeah, I still need to earn money. Like any of the money we get from Twitch is gonna go towards that capture card. So if anyone wants to donate money for it, there's a donation link at the bottom. If anyone, like any subscribers, that revenue that I get from that, because I get about half of the subscriber fee, that goes towards it. So, yeah, any money goes towards improving the streams and helping upgrade stuff. How much is it? I believe a 3DS capture card is 400-ish? Yeah, 400 sounds... Something around 400 US sounds right, because it basically requires buying a brand new 3DS, because my 3DS is kind of fucked up, and I don't want a chance breaking it. So I would just go out and buy a new one, and that would be a dedicated capture one. Because like that's what Emil does, too, and a lot of people, so... Half? They take half? That's quite a bit. Well, I mean, keep in mind, like, this is Twitch's way of making money, too, so... 450 middle kick. Okay, so it's 450 then. I guess that's what I'm aiming for. It's about 500. 400 Canadian, says Villain. Yeah, 400. That includes the 3DS. It's 250 if you send a 3DS, or 450 if you buy a new one outright. The person I'm going to grab it from... I need to send them a 3DS, so it's going to be 250 plus I need to buy the 3DS, so that's is still equated around 400 then at that point. Or a little under 450. Carlyton, I am not secretly Captain Canada, sorry. I can't pull off those amazing fighting Canadian moves that he has. I thought that until I thought about all the ad revenue that they also get. I'll be honest, you don't get that much ad revenue from Twitch. I can't say how much, but it's not that much. Like, for how much I've streamed this month, I still would make so much more on YouTube, which is kind of funny that I haven't focused that much on YouTube this month. But I don't know. I like the streaming. I like being able to interact with you guys verbally. I think it's just kind of fun this way. So I'm trying to find that proper balance of doing both. Maybe we'll reach that balance soon. Maybe I'll fuck something up. Who knows? We'll keep winging it. John, have you learned any valuable lessons from your years of making videos? By the way, it's pronounced Carlito. Carlito. Oh, Carlito! God, how did I not see that? NSP. Okay, I thought it was just a weird way of saying Carlton. So sorry, so it's Carlito NSP. That makes more sense. Just stream and put the streams on YouTube. I don't want to just load all the streams onto YouTube. That's the thing. Like, that's just getting obnoxious at that point. Oh, we got an egg! I goes too fast. Air guy, I think, said it.
You will give me an egg.
Egg. Tenmar says, you literally need on a consistent basis about 25k view. Oh, that went way too fast. 25k viewers a day watching ads and subscribe to make any money from Twitch as a career. That is pretty much correct. You need to be devoted to streaming to get enough revenue to make this your job. Like, hats off to guys like Cosmo, who can pull that off as their job. That's impressive that they can do that. Especially how few games, I guess, that Cosmo technically plays. But he's good at the ones he does. How many subs do I have right now? Let's check, because we're trying to get the next emote. So let's see how close we are. Oh, wow. Okay. We're at 154. So we need 96 more subscribers before we can earn the next 2 emote slots. So we're quite a ways away from that. I don't expect to see that until probably into the new year. Oop, lost the chat for a second. Canadian Josh, thoughts? Well, he'd be Canadian. It's expensive to become Canadian, apparently, unless you're born it that way. Mind you, Cosmo also makes a bit from Speedruns Live. He's a staff member there. Well, he's a co-founder of Speedruns Live, so that makes sense. I just didn't realize they were making enough revenue to quantify as making that much job. That's cool, though, they can do that. What will be the next emote? I don't know. We haven't figured that out yet. We haven't really focused on it because we're not close enough. Holy Proton, I was thinking to be closer to 75. We crushed the 75 goal, I think, like 2 weeks ago or something like that. Because we aimed for 50, then we aimed for 100 because we wanted to get more emotes. And then when you go from 100, it jumps to 250 is the next requirement. And then after 250, I'm pretty sure it's 500, so it just takes forever to get new emotes on Twitch. Whoa, whoa. Would it be acceptable for me to order Billy Hatcher to go straight to you without testing it? I don't think it would be very efficient time-wise for it to go to Texas and then turn around and go to Canada. Shadow, if you want to do that, go ahead. Remember, the P.O. Box is listed there. You can use the entire thing there for it. John, who would you vote for or think would win in an election? Solid as Snake or Senator Armstrong? Probably Senator Armstrong, let's be honest here. How did you like Arkham Origins? I think the critics were too hard on it. I have not had a chance to play it yet. Because, I'll be honest, I've been practicing TRG games. Because next week, I'm going to be at Emil's place to do TRG stuff. So I need to practice the 3 core games we're going to be recording for main Let's Plays. So I got to make sure I'm at least prepared. When is the next stream? I don't know. I've got plans tomorrow, so it won't be tomorrow. Unless I do it really early in the day, but even then I don't think that's an option. Or if I do it super late. Maybe super late. Odds are Wednesday, unless G, who is probably listening to the stream right now, and if you are, hey G, how's it going? Unless G doesn't want to go out for Wings, or we just do the Wings thing super early, there might be a stream Wednesday. And it'll probably be Dead Space again, because I'd like to finish Dead Space before the end of October. But at the way we're going, I don't think that's going to happen unless I do 2 fairly long streams on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll see, though. Hey, John, how many speedrunners do you know / talk to? Very few. Patrick is one of the few. Patrick and Liam are the only 2 speedrunners I talk to, and they're also Let's Players, so that kind of worked out. John, what is up next for TRG after Dokapon Kingdom? I don't know. We've got a bunch of things recorded, such as the Runaway Guys tournament we did at PAX Prime. That still has to be edited and put up. We also have a ton of filler stuff. So I have a feeling it's either going to be filler stuff, the next dual board of Mario Party 3, or the tournament for PAX Prime. John, has TRG ever thought of having a contest of some kind? Yeah. I don't know when we'd actually ever do one, though, but I'm sure it'll happen at some point in said future. Sorry, give me a second here. Just checking something. Digging that music. All right. Dear Proton John, do you use a virtual audio cable to get the audio from the capture card while streaming? Yes, I do, Tenmar, but only when I'm using my Dazzle. If I'm using my Dazzle, I use virtual audio cables to transfer the audio from my Dazzle into XSplit. If I'm using the HD PVR, it just goes in automatically. John, have you ever thought about listing frequently asked questions on your Twitch profile so people won't ask you the same question and you can point them out to it? I don't think there's been enough frequently asked questions to really bring up. But once it gets to the point where that does come up, I will do that. Would TRG consider doing a tournament at MagFest? I don't know. I don't know if we have enough people that we know going to MagFest to record. We'll figure that out probably when we go to Emil's place. If you were forced to live with Emil for a year, how long do you think before you went crazy? A week. Which is why I'm only usually there a week. Because then I hit my limit. Sorry, I'm getting really into the music. This happens every now and then. John, would you nickname and execute Wesker? I will keep that in mind for when I play Pokemon and if I catch one. Frequently asked question number 1, probably where's Super Max 64 anyway. Yeah, that's really all I would need for the FAQ is just put that there, and we'd be covered. I know you will like Roger Craig Smith's portrayal of Batman. He sounds kind of like Chris. All right, that's cool. I'd love to hear. I love the mental image of Chris Redfield running around as Batman, just punching people in the face and throwing eggs at them. John, do you have any plans with Beardman, a.k.a. the Completionist, anytime soon? I've got nothing currently planned with Gerard, but I'm sure next time we meet up and hang out, we'll probably